Much ado has been made as of late about how I have changed over the course of the last few years. In light of this fact, I have decided to do a small series of videos wherein I express my current attitudes towards various subjects that I have addressed in the past. Today, we will talk about Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter as a phrase is completely inoffensive to anyone that isn't racist. But phrases only go so far. They can encompass so much more than what you can glean from taking them at literal face value. They can mean different things to different people. There are, undeniably, those in the BLM camp to whom Black Lives Matter means Black Lives Matter more. But to the majority, Black Lives Matter means Black Lives Matter too. Black Lives Matter as a rallying cry is vague enough to encompass many different understandings of the term. The formalized Black Lives Matter organization, which should be viewed as somewhat separate from the broader decentralized social movement, seems to promote ideals and policies that I find myself generally amenable to. My concern with the Black Lives Matter movement is that it continues to separate human beings by skin color and ask that we all be considered as belonging to a certain group based on nothing more than our ethnicity. I don't think racism will ever truly fade from the American psyche until race and culture become artifacts of a bygone era. My ultimate goal for the human race is one in which individuality is paramount and group affiliations are by choice, not by birth. I do, however, recognize that when black-skinned people are disproportionately arrested, pulled over, searched, brutalized, and generally given harsher sentences for the same crimes, generally poorer on average, discriminated against on job applications, and a whole host of other systemic racial problems, that the only way you're going to address those grievances is through identity politics, which I hate. But if you're being discriminated against based on your identity in some way, then you cannot have an identity-neutral response. In other words, it's hard to be post-racial in a fight against racism. Nonetheless, I remain convinced that until no one cares about their own skin color or the skin color of others, racism cannot be destroyed as a social ill. And I fear that even if BLM achieves its goals of making our society more fair towards black people, they will not easily surrender their black identity. But that's another fight for another day. If I live long enough to see that fight or to participate in it, that would be amazing. Because what that means is that racism has been defeated in America. And now we can at long last have a conversation about how identity, like pride, should be personal instead of based on the baggage of culture or the happenstance of pigment. I, of course, condemn any BLM activists that are racist towards Caucasian people or against any other race. I condemn black supremacy. I don't feel particularly inclined to excuse their bigotry any more than I would excuse the bigotry of any other racist. However, let's be honest, black racism is not a systemic issue. It does not permeate our institutions. It does not pose the same sort of threat. It may be equally reprehensible on a personal level, but it is not equally malignant in a broader social context. To summarize, I support Black Lives Matter in broad terms, but my support does come with several caveats. I ask that if you disagree with anything I've said here, please remember that the purposes of these videos is to express my current attitudes towards various subjects that pertain to this channel. I am not attempting at this time to make an argument. I am merely communicating to you my current attitudes on the subject at hand. Regardless of how you feel about my words, I thank you kindly for taking the time to listen. Please subscribe to this channel and check out all of the links in the description section down below. Follow all the social media. Consider becoming a patron of Pessimist Productions. And I hope that you all have a lovely evening, morning, afternoon, night, whatever time it is when you're listening to this video.